big into charity. I like to try and give back to the community as much as possible and try and raise money as much as possible, because that's a big bit about, you know, what pageants are about. And I think a lot of people don't actually realise that. I think they just think it's all about the hair and the makeup and the dresses, but actually there is another side, and I don't think that always gets portrayed fully.
That is so true, Emma. Like you said, it's not just about the outer beauty. It's not just about the crown and the sash, even though yours looks fantastic and it looks really nice on you. But it is truly, like you said, it's about that hard work. It's about, you know, charity fundraising, inner beauty, you know, translating that inner beauty to the outside world and doing work in the community and things like that. Yeah. So tell us a bit about your career as a nurse.
Okay, so my actual title is, it's a bit long and obnoxious. It's Neonatal Nursery Nurse Associate Practitioner. That's my newest title. I don't know if you remember back in I think it was my first pageant with you, and you asked me what my goals were, and that was one of them, to progress to that title. So I've achieved that this year, which I'm really pleased about. So I've still got a little bit of my university course left to do. I've got like just under a year, so it's not a lot at all. So basically I work on the special care baby unit, which is where we look after premature babies or babies who are unwell, and ranging from, you know, just little feeding problems to more serious problems, and just do our best to support the parents. Obviously not just me, but we've got a wonderful team of doctors and nurses also. So.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Well done, Emma. I think that's such a really, you know, like, it's really moving to just be able to do that work, and knowing that you're really like helping and saving lives and touching young babies that just need that support.
It's really, really rewarding. I can't think of anything that really would be more rewarding at the moment. You know, I really enjoy it. I love it.
Oh, wonderful. But and congratulations for getting that promotion as well, like in your career. Julia says hello. She's representing Cambridge in UK's Dazzling Beauty.
Hello, Julia. I haven't met you, but I'm sure you're lovely.
Yeah. I think we're going to meet you at the grand final.
Definitely. I will definitely be there. Hoping to see plenty of you there, strutting your stuff.
Yeah, brilliant. Julie, if you've got any questions, let us know and we'll get Emma to answer them on the show. Hi, Emma. Yes, you are. Yeah, she said yes, you are. Yeah, so basically, the next question I want to ask you is, how did you find out about UK's Dazzling Beauty?
Well, I originally started in pageants quite a few years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago. I did one pageant. I did Miss England. Yeah. I wasn't successful, but it did give me experience. And that's an important thing for all girls to remember, that it's not just about the winning. Every pageant you enter is going to give you experience. You know, nothing's ever lost. Even if you feel like you didn't do best or you didn't enjoy the day, you still will have learnt things from that experience. So, you know, never think negatively of any of the experiences you have. So I had a little bit of time out after that, just focusing on work and stuff, and then I just started to think, yeah, maybe I'd like to do it again. I was getting a bit bored, maybe, with, you know, I just wanted a few extra things going on in my life. So I did majority of the research on the internet, and I found UK Dazzling Beauty. It had a heat that was quite near me, and one of the things that attracted me probably mostly to it is that it was giving you sort of extra training. I wanted a bit of guidance. I wasn't obviously super experienced. I'd only done one pageant. Even though it was a big pageant, I still didn't really know my stuff. So I wanted some guidance and that little bit extra sort of before I really competed, which was probably the main thing that led me towards UK Dazzling Beauty. Because obviously you do that extra bit of training. You get during the day before the pageant, you get training, confidence building. I think all that stuff really helps, definitely. Particularly if you don't have experience or you don't feel particularly confident, then all of those sort of things are going to add to your confidence and your charisma when you're on stage.
Oh, thank you very much. And I know what you mean. It's true in terms of like the training being important, because I used to always think, you know, most pageants out there, as much as they are very, very wonderful, a lot of pageants are very centered on just promoting the pageant itself and not actually giving the training. I know there is training on the training days, like they have training days, and there's also the whole idea of the, you know, the the rehearsals. But I really wanted to go extra with UK's Dazzling Beauty. I wanted there to be a lot of guidance, like you said, and a lot of coaching, mentoring, training, whether it be through a podcast, live events. And I get like lots of questions over and over and over. And I wanted to make sure that we try to tackle those questions through worksheets, or whether it be through, you know, videos or live days, you know, just giving as much, you know, advice as possible. So I'm glad that you have said that. We're really grateful.
Yeah, that definitely helped me. And also it helps to break the ice, because whenever you're going to do something new, or you're meeting new people or anything, you know, it's all a bit scary, and things like that just break the ice, make you feel a bit more comfortable. And then by the time it comes to the evening and you do actually have to compete, you've built up that little bit of rapport with everyone, you've got that little bit of confidence, and you feel better stepping on stage.
Yeah, totally, it's true. Thank you very much for that. Julia actually has a question. She says, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. What are your most important things to bring with you to a pageant? Okay. So firstly, make sure you've done your research. So make sure you know what the rounds are, what's required for the rounds, because if you turn up, everyone's wearing a pink dress and you've got a blue dress, you're probably not going to feel great. So make sure you know what you're supposed to be wearing for each round. So you've prepared all your outfits. Of course, you need your outfits. You're not going to go on stage without them. So that's really important. Also, hair and makeup, whatever you're going to wear. You don't need to go over the top. You don't need to do what everyone else is doing. Do what makes you feel comfortable. If you're not used to wearing tons of makeup, don't wear tons of makeup. If you're not used to wearing your hair in a big bouffant, then don't, you know, because you want to feel confident on stage. You want to feel like yourself, but the best version of yourself. So outfit, hair stuff, makeup. Also, really important, water. You need to drink water all day. Pageants are quite long days. And also snacks as well, because they are quite long days. It can be quite hard work sometimes. You need to keep refueled. You want to feel good when you're going on stage. You don't want to feel funny. You don't want to feel faint. So stay hydrated, keep snacking, and enjoy your day is the most important thing.
Yes, definitely. I totally agree with all of that. I think I would add by saying what to bring along to a pageant. Yeah, I agree. Like especially the snacks and, like you said, the water, because it keeps you hydrated. A lot of beauty queens or, you know, contestants towards the end, they can start to get a bit like not enough. So I think that really and truly the most enthusiastic people that are able to keep that consistency in terms of the energy levels and the smile and all of that, those are the girls that end up winning. And make sure, like Emma said, you go through the itinerary over and over so that you don't miss anything. If you can't bring something because you can't find that thing or whatever, let the pageant director know in advance so that they let the judges know, so that there isn't this thing where, like she said, like you turn up with a blue dress and then they're like, what is she wearing? And, you know, and then also I think that you should bring along like just simple things such as, for example, some flip-flops because when you're going home after the event, your feet might really hurt.
Yeah, you definitely want comfy clothes to go home in, because you're going to be in all sorts of outfits all day. Your feet are going to be killing you. You're probably going to be sweating because you're so nervous.
Exactly.
That's another important thing. And you want to go home feeling comfy.
You definitely do. Shoes or flip-flops, definitely, because when I finish, I don't even want shoes on. Like even if they're flat shoes, I'm like, it has to be like flip-flops or trainers because it's the most comfortable.
And also ensure you know whether you are supposed to have raised money for charity. That's really important. You need to bring your charity money, how much charity money you've got, and who it's for, and if it's not for a specific person, different pageants are different that way. And also know whether you need to bring a portfolio. That's really important, because you don't want to be the only person turning up to pre-judging without a portfolio. That's not going to make you look good. So like I said, do your research, make sure you know what you should be doing, and make sure you've got all the boxes ticked.
Yeah, exactly, definitely, because then you can go to the pageant with confidence. You can go there knowing that you've done your best, and you know whatever you're asked to do, even if you can't do something. Let's say you couldn't do, let's say, a lot of appearances, for example. you can still maximize other areas. So if you know, if you know you're weak in one area or you can't do something because of a certain reason, like I always knew that I was good at charity fundraising. So I didn't really focus too much on winning Miss Congeniality because I knew that that wasn't a priority to me. Like as much as I'm naturally friendly, I'm really like I can go out of my way with being friendly sometimes, but I knew that that could also stop me from winning the crown. So I wanted to focus my attention more on charity fundraising because I knew that was a very important crown and title to win for me. So do this, like if you know that you're a pro on social media, then focus like maybe more on building your fan page. Or if you
definitely
like if you think, oh my gosh, I'm so good at media, then focus a lot of energy on media. Focus on the main thing that you're really good at, and then obviously focus on the rest too, but give your divine energy to the one that you know you're just going to soar like an eagle in.
Definitely know your strengths and weaknesses. That's important, I think.
Exactly.
Also, they're likely to probably ask you a question like that in pre-judging or on stage. Quite often they'll ask you, you know, what your strongest feature is or what your weakness is and what you might have done to overcome that. So it's good to know that too.
Yeah, that's so true. If you have any other questions, let us know. We will answer them and we'll answer them. So the next question I want to ask you, Emma, is, you know, what would you say gave you the real confidence to enter pageants? Because, you know, like when young girls and women want to just go to that next level, they're like, oh my God, I want to do this. But then they just think, oh no, I don't want to do this because they're nervous or they're shy. What made you just think, you know what, I'm not going to be nervous or shy. I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to enter that pageant and just go for Miss England or go for UK's Dazzling.
I think the thing with nerves or lack of confidence is, firstly, it's okay to feel nervous.
Yeah.
Everyone probably feels nervous. You probably feel like you're the most nervous one. You have no idea how everyone else is feeling. So it's fine to embrace the nerves. I think, you know, the quote, feel the fear and do it anyway, is really important, because if you didn't do the things that you were afraid of, you know, you live a really closed life. So generally, the things that you're most proud of are the things that have been most difficult in your life. So just do it, go for it. Also, you know, nerves and excitement are pretty much the same thing. The chemicals that cause them, majority are the same in the body. You wouldn't stop yourself from doing something just because you're excited. So don't stop yourself from doing something just because you're nervous. And like I say, the most difficult things are those things that are going to build confidence. And then every time you do it, you're going to feel better. And I generally think, you know, whether or not you can believe that you can do it, you're probably right. Because if you believe you can do it, then you will. If you're really like, oh no, I can't do that, then you probably can't. So you just got to believe in yourself and go for it.
It's so true, definitely. I was looking at a quote today about, you know, the confidence that we should. I think it was I don't remember what the quote was. I think I might be able to see it here quickly if I pull it up. But it was about basically, I'll just quickly read it. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's on my Facebook. Okay, so it says, believe in yourself, have faith in your abilities. Without a humble but reasonable confidence in your own powers, you cannot be successful or happy. And that's from Norman Vincent Peale.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, so it's true.
And you got to push yourself outside of your comfort zones, you know, to grow. Otherwise, you're just going to stay the same. So if you want these things, if you can dream it, you can probably do it.
That's right, girls. So girls and ladies, go for it. Like, don't let your nerves or just don't be the person to be on the edge all the time, just looking at everybody else doing all these great things. You know, get in the game and do it yourself as well.
I think we've got someone asking to join. Do we have to make them join?
I
don't know how it works.
Do you know of anything? Hi, Hayes, Heaven, Hams Heaven.
Oh, no, I think they've joined. Okay. And got another question. How did you feel when you won? Okay. I felt amazing. I never ever go into a competition expecting to win. It's always a surprise to me when I win anything. You know, even when you've won a couple of things, you still never expect to win. So I always feel amazing when I win. Also, you know, I think, I feel really nervous, blah, blah, blah. But people always say to me, oh, you don't come across nervous. I would have never thought you were nervous. So like I say, you never know how other people are feeling and how you're coming across as well. You're probably coming across far better than you think you are. So I felt a huge sense of achievement. I was really, really proud to have won the charity title as well, because that was really important to me, raising money for charity. So it was all good. It was a massive confidence boost as well.
Yeah, wonderful. Yes, definitely. I mean, I did notice the consistency with you, which was really good. Like, your catwalk was very consistent. Sometimes when not that people are afraid of me, but when they see me go near them or look at them, they can kind of get a bit timid a little bit. I think that's how people are with most people in authority. The minute that they see somebody that's a manager or a supervisor, leader in any way, shape or form, they start to get a bit nervous. And I try and train girls to not do that. Like, don't be intimidated by me or by anyone that's a judge or anything. But I noticed that you didn't do that. Like, you didn't allow, the energy of a judge or me or anything to make you feel like, oh, she's looking at me now, so I need to kind of go a bit timid. So I think that's what I would advise you, anyone watching, to not allow somebody, especially a judge or anyone anyway, it could be someone in the audience, don't allow them to make you feel like, oh my god, they're watching me now, like my mum's watching me now, I've got to be like, you've still got to stay in your elegance, your pose, still remain confident, and try and look through people or look over their head, or don't, if you feel nervous to look at them, don't look directly into their eyes, but try and look I know you have to
look at the judge.
Look at the judges, but
you want to look at the judges, but don't worry about everyone else.
Exactly, yeah. That's right. So Hams Heaven said, Emma, you're so beautiful. I'm sure this
thank you.
Yeah, she is stunning. And like you said, Emma, you have inner beauty as well as the outer beauty, and so it's like
I think that's the most important thing. And regardless of how attractive you are, how pretty you are, if inside you're a horrible person, that shines through. People can see it, and you're not pretty anymore after that. That's it. So, it's no good just being pretty on the outside. You've got to have both. And the same with, if you're maybe not stereotypically pretty, if you've got a good heart, that shines through. If you're a lovely person, that shines through. And, I think that's what people warm to, really, more than the way you look.
Definitely. I think that's so true. I mean, there have been some, like, I'm sure you probably know that you've probably met one guy or another, maybe it could be a friend or a boyfriend or whatever. Like, in my life, I've met people that I felt like, oh, he's not necessarily that good looking, but then, like you said, they're such a nice person, whether it's a colleague and then like, oh my gosh, they're so nice. Like, they are much better than that person that's the so-called, and they
become attractive. I think people who you think are aesthetically attractive, if you find out they're a horrible person, they become ugly to me
overnight.
And the other way around as well. If they've got a good heart, then they look beautiful to me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, most certainly. So, younger ladies and also gentlemen, just have that inner beauty. Don't let the looks get to your head, because, like Emma said, if you don't have, no one is perfect, but just try your best to constantly work on the inside of you. What are you doing for charity? What are you doing to help society, help your community? And you don't have to be a beauty queen to do this. You can actually contribute in some way, shape or form. You can contribute in your workplace. You can contribute online by sharing value, whether it be inspirational quotes, whether it's blogging, making videos, whatever it is that you can do to step up and help people. Don't always be the kind of person that has to take or trample on people to get to the top.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And personally, I think, like you say about take, to me, it feels better to give. So that's why, like, the charity thing was so important to me, and, meeting the other girls, things like that. They're all like lifelong experiences that you're not going to lose, regardless of whether or not you win the pageant, regardless of whether or not you think you're the prettiest girl there. That's not what's important. It's what you've got in here from it.
It's so true, definitely, because like you said, it's like lifelong friendships. And like Louise this year came back. I mean, she's come back so many times to do things and maybe come to events or this and that and the other. And that's how it is. Like you said, it's like lifelong. So with UK's Dazzling Beauty, it doesn't just end just because your reign is over, or it doesn't end just because someone competed once. They can come back to any event we invite them to. If we have any TV interviews, we invite all the girls. If we have a Christmas party, And like, I believe there's going to be like bigger sponsors in future, bigger charity events to get involved with, lots of prizes to come in. And I think that when people are loyal and committed and faithful, they end up benefiting from that.
Yeah.
So
think of what you make out of it at the end of the day. If you're gonna, you know, not put any effort in, you're not going to get anything out of it. So it's not necessarily about what you have, it's about what you do with it. It's not necessarily about what happens to you, but it's how you react to it.
Exactly, it's true, most certainly, definitely. So how have you found your reign so far, Emma? Like, what 3 things have you enjoyed the most?
Media attention, I guess, was probably the first thing that was like a big change for me. I got quite a bit of media attention. I had a couple of like front page covers on newspapers. I had quite a few interviews, press, that sort of thing, and that's always nice. And that's something you can keep forever, and no one can take that away from you. And they were all really good. Even my workplace were really good to me. They printed articles about me and stuff.
Yes.
Charity fundraising, the other thing. I think when you have a title, people, I guess they're just more open to listening to your cause or what's going on, rather than if you're very meek and sort of not very bold. You've got to be confident when you're trying to raise money for charity. You've got to know what your cause is.
Yeah.
You've got to, have a goal and be consistent with it as well. Also, just meeting different people. So meeting, different people from the pageant industry. Everyone's so diverse, and you don't meet 2 people that are the same. And I think that's really enjoyable. Like you say, you make lifelong friends, definitely. And the experience can never be taken away from you, whether you win, lose, regardless, you've gained something from that.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you for the claps, everyone. Keep clapping.
I didn't know what that was. I was like, what?
Oh, you've got fans, Emma. Oh, thank you. Yay.
Someone's saying I'm talking too fast. Sorry.
Yes. So, okay, another question I want to ask you. Let me know when you have to go, by the way, because I know you have a certain time limit to this.
That's fine. I've got a bit of time, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so the next question I want to ask you is, how can young girls and women improve their catwalk?
Okay. Again, do your research, okay? So watch YouTube videos, watch pageants, go to pageants, go and see what it's about, see what the girls are doing, particularly see what the winners are doing, so that's what the judges are looking for. Also, you can go to like pageant training days, you can get a coach if you want, depending on finances, whether that's viable for you or not. And just practice. You can definitely self-teach yourself a lot if you're willing to put in the time, put in the effort, and do the research and just practice every night. Like before a pageant, I would always practice every day, even if it's for like 20 minutes. Always have someone else watching you so they can point out maybe things that you didn't notice you were doing. And it just becomes like more natural to you the more you do it.
Yeah, definitely. I love what you said about practicing every night, because I think that is so important. The thing is, if you're not comfortable with your body, it's a bit like being on a photo shoot as well. It's like you don't really want to go there and waste the photographer's time. Of course, they're going to give out, help you to bring out the best. But like if young girls or women or even gentlemen go to a photo shoot and they're not prepared, they sort of are shy and everything. I know the photographer will help them, but they're practically not ready for the shoot. And it's like you want to go onto stage ready for the pageant. You want to be like, yep, I've worked on my catwalk. And if you do it with music on, you walk up and down, you try different hills, you've done the work, you've practiced. So if you don't do that well, you've given it your all. But if you just go there and you haven't really practiced, and then you see all these other girls really confident and everything, you might get intimidated, and then could affect your walking even all the more. So
that's a good point as well about shoes, and make sure that you're practicing in shoes you are actually going to wear, because that makes a huge difference.
Exactly. Definitely.
Make sure you can walk in them for a start.
Most certainly.
And bear in mind that you are likely to probably have to stand for quite a long time, particularly if they're interviewing other contestants while you're on stage, and you need to keep your pose you need to keep the judges' eyes on you, even if they're interviewing someone else. Don't think that the judges aren't looking at the rest of the line, because they are. They're watching you all the time. Even when you're walking on stage and when you're walking off stage, you need to have your game face on all the time.
Definitely. I think the judges notice the ones that are really standing out and then the ones that are really not standing out. So they're just like, I personally, when I even do rehearsals, I wonder if I see someone just like fidget and, you know, they're just like, oh, you know, or like they're meant to be holding a pose and smiling, and then they're just like, just their hands are down and they're just like waiting for us to do the next thing. And I'm actually thinking in my mind, you have to like take the rehearsals as if it's the real thing. Don't act like, oh, it's just the rehearsals. Who cares? Because if you give 90% in rehearsals, imagine then you could go up to 110% in the real thing. But if you give, like, let's say 50% in rehearsals, when it gets to the real thing, you're probably going to give 70%, which might not be that great if somebody else has given, like, you know, literally 90% or even 100% in rehearsals, and then they can only go up. So yeah, so definitely.
And even if you're tired as well, which you probably are going to be because you've been training all day, spending loads of time getting ready, do not let the judges or anyone else know that you're tired.
Yeah.
On stage, do not look bored.
Oh.
Like I say, remember they're watching you anytime you're on stage.
Yes.
Or anytime you're in their view, actually.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, you know, if somebody goes for a driving lesson and they mess up in that driving lesson because they didn't really, you know, like they just allowed themselves to, not that they did it on purpose, but let's say they do mess up. The thing is, it's like they have to redo the whole practical test. And that's how it is with pageants. If you don't do your best on that day and you allow yourself to slip a little bit or whatever, and you don't win, it's like you have to, if you get to top 4, for example, like you end up peaking at 4th place, but you could have been 1st place and you're not, that means you're going to have to enter another pageant and try and win that next title and crown. So it's like you need to give it your all, because it's like you have to, there's a quote that says, act like your life depends on it, because it does. And you have to act like, oh my God, everything I do today is going to be like, it's everything. It's like I could possibly go home with a crown and I'm going to give it 120% or 200%. And if I don't go home with a crown, it just wasn't meant to be. But it shouldn't just be that, it shouldn't just be because, oh, you know, I was just couldn't be bothered. I got really tired and, you know, it was taking so long. I mean, are you more worried about going home, or are you worried about like the opportunity that could come with actually winning the crown? So I think always remind yourself, what could come with this? You know, what could I actually achieve if I do win, so that you keep yourself sharp.
Definitely. And if you know you've put in your 110%, 200% even, then even if you don't win, you know you've done the best that you can do. Whereas if you have just gone in half-hearted, and you know you've gone in half-hearted, when you go home, you're not going to feel good, whether you win or not. You know, it's about how much effort you've put in, or how much you've grown as a person, and, you know, within your pageantry as well. If you've done better than the last pageant you were at, regardless of whether you won, then that's a triumph still.
Exactly. So yeah, Anna's asked. Yeah, she's asked a few questions.
Did I get any pageant coaching? I haven't had any pageant coaching that I actually paid for, but when I did my first UK Dazzling Beauty, which was South East Dazzling Beauty, we did during the day, we had quite a bit of pageant coaching, sort of icebreakers, confidence building and catwalk training. And we had that before all of the heats as well. So I did the South East heat, and then I did the pre-grand finals and then the grand final. And we had practice and training for all of them, which helped hugely with your confidence as well. Also, I did loads of research. So I watched YouTube videos. I was friends with other people from the pageant community, and I watched their videos. You know, particularly people who are winning a lot. And you can just learn yourself and train yourself, and then get, you know, whatever extras you can, which is suitable for you. And just make sure you do join in with anything that's going on, because if you don't, you're going to regret it, and there's always going to be someone else that is willing to put the effort in and is willing to do the training and is willing to practice, and they're going to come out on top at the end of the day. You know, you you can have so much talent, but if you don't work hard and you don't practice, then you're probably going to lose out to someone who maybe didn't have the natural talent that you do have, but they're willing to work hard every day for it.
Thank you for the clap. Sorry, I'm just noticing like a clapping contest going on. Thank you for all the claps, everybody, for me and Emma. Yes, absolutely. What you are saying is so true, Emma. And I think that, like you said, sometimes I think like you have what it takes. Like you're naturally very good at what you do. And I think if you find that maybe you're not sure about what you're doing, or if you know you have something rusty, then I think that working with a coach could be good. But you could also, like Emma said, you can watch videos, you could seek advice. Even your friends will tell you what you need to work on. If you know that you're not really doing what you need to do, if you feel like, oh, I'm at a 5 out of 10, then you might think, yeah, you know, if I can afford some training, I'm going to go for it. There are probably workshops in your local area. It could be, sometimes it's not always about coaching. It could actually be, I really believe it could be something like working out at the gym. It could be Zumba classes, it could be dance classes you go to, it could be singing for your talent. Like if you're a singer and you want to do a talent round, you can actually hire a vocal coach. You could practice with the piano or something like that. It doesn't always have to be pageant coaching, but I think if you find that you keep not winning, for example, let's say somebody wants to win and they're so serious about winning, or they want to go and compete internationally abroad. If you want to compete abroad, or let's say you just, you know, when you feel like I have to do this, I have to get trained and I need help, like then I think you should invest. If you can invest in it, then it will be really, really good. And so yeah, but it's true, like Emma said, we do quite a lot of training during our days, and I think we also spoke on the phone. I think I gave you we had a feedback session, so yeah, so
that's really helpful as well. So you can get feedback from the judges. They can sort of give you pointers on where you went wrong, and then you know your weak areas then, and you can work on them. Because if you don't get any feedback and you keep not winning, then how do you know where to start? So it's important to ask and getting feedback that you can, and then work on those points.
Definitely, that's true. Oh, brilliant.
Oh, just say as well, someone's asking, is it uncomfortable when you do your bikini catwalk? There isn't a bikini round in UK's Dazzling Beauty, so I cannot comment on that.
There isn't. Another question that someone asked is, Julia asked if will you be doing any more pageants?
Okay. So after UK's Dazzling Beauty, I actually had some health problems with my foot, which you know about, Queen, which didn't allow me to do any more pageants. Otherwise, I would have. Yeah. But I haven't been able to wear heels for quite a while. Nothing to do with pageantry. But I do plan to in the future do some more. I'd like to maybe do Face of the Globe, Face of the World. I know they have a big charity emphasis as well, so that's important to me. You know, there's lots of good systems out there, Galaxy maybe, but I'm going to see how my foot goes and then hopefully get back out there. I mean, I did one small one, I think, after UK's Dazzling Beauty, which was the Valentine's one, with Valentine's Beauty, and I won that. But since then, I've been rushing. But I do plan to, hopefully, in the future, my foot allows me.
Very, very good. Wonderful. Thanks for the claps. There's somebody trying to come on, but I don't know who it is. Okay. Should I ask you a couple more questions and then we can...
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so another question I want to ask you is, how did you raise money for charity? Oh, look, Julia, I think she's trying to come on. How did you raise money for charity in terms of, what were your like charity fundraising strategies?
Okay, so I did a couple of different things. I did some online stuff, so I did like an online photo competition where people paid to enter their photos, and then they won, like, I think the girls won a trophy, the boys won a trophy, and the girls won a tiara and sashes for first, second and third. So that went down really well. One of my biggest fundraising successes actually is a bit random, which was the online photo pet show. So people pay like £1 to enter their pet. There's different classes, and I literally had like hundreds of entrants for that, hundreds. And I did spend a long time promoting it. I was constantly posting on websites, doggy websites and stuff like that. And then they won Rosette, and all the money for that went to charity. I also did like auctions, clothes auctions, dress auctions. I did baby sale. I did bucket collection, and I also did literally just making people donate. So telling people about your cause and telling them why you need the money. And generally, if you're confident and you're coming across that this cause is important, people are quite obliging, and I've raised quite a lot of money that way as well, to be honest. But you need to be bold.
Yeah, you've got to be bold, definitely.
Yeah, and know what your aim is, know what your goal is.
Definitely. So do you think, I just tweeted out that we're live so people can tune in. So do you think, Emma, that there, like, did you receive any perks or like prizes, or, when you receive things just because of your title and crown that you didn't really receive before? So it could be things such as, like, when people found out that you were UK's Dazzling Beauty, oh, you can get this ticket for free, or you could, like, you got some sponsors or discounts that you didn't get before, or stuff like that.
Yeah, I had a lovely sponsor, actually. A dress designer sponsored me, and also, just generally, if you go to shops that particularly that sell pageant stuff and they know who you are, they are far more willing to help you. Far more willing to give you discounts. Also, lots of sort of invites to charity things, festivals, to make appearances out, stuff like that, to get involved with various things in the community, like fire service and hospices, things like that. Definitely when you have a title, people take you more seriously, rather than when you're actually competing. And I always say with press, and when you're trying to contact anyone or get appearances or anything like that, as long as you come across that you believe in yourself, they're going to believe in you. Because if you don't, if you come across like meek and I don't really know, or shy, they're not going to invest in you at all. So you need to believe in you before anyone else will believe in you.
That is so true, definitely. I do love that, like you said, you've got to believe in yourself, because it's true. If you come across, like, when I'm on the phone, even speaking about UK's Dazzling Beauty to any of the media, if my voice is not strong, like, I have to be a different person when I speak to them, and I don't let them speak too much either. I'm like, I just have to act a bit more forward and a bit, because the media are very quick to be bored. Like, is she still talking? Like, when will this call end? We're busy. That kind of thing. So it's like you've got to speak with real authority, and you've got to be really, get your voice out there, be confident, like Emma said, and just have to share your message. And don't be afraid to call them again, or don't be afraid to send another email when they see that you're serious. And once they know your name, that's it. Like, even if they don't like book you, or whether it be feature you at the time, they will always come back to you at some point. If you keep on sending them a press release, or if you say, oh, I didn't hear from you last time, would you be interested now? You can follow up 6 months later, and you may not even still be in a pageant. You could actually chase up just to talk about your experience after the pageant, or something like that, or talk about your next venture. So that's what I've done. And there have been times where I remember I used to contact my local press quite often, and I got into the paper a few times, but then there was a time where they were meant to feature me, and they even told me the date, and then it never happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? But then it's funny, because another time when I didn't expect to be featured, I was featured for when I had my graduation at university. They put me in as a new graduate, with a master's degree, and she's just done this for Islington and da-da-da. And it was like, oh my gosh, you didn't even tell me you're putting me in the papers. So, but because
I didn't know that. Some people actually think,
yeah, that's amazing. It's really good when you go into the papers, but you don't even expect it. So Well done, Emma. It's really, really good.
I think when you're contacting the media as well, you need to firstly aim high, and secondly know what your story is, because the media don't want to print boring stuff. Okay, they're not going to print anything that's not inspirational, is not going to catch people's attention. So make sure you are giving them all the details, telling them, you know, what a good job you're doing, what you're doing for the community. Give them all the facts, and then generally they can make a story out of that. And also be willing to like have off the cuff interviews and stuff, because sometimes maybe, you know, their newspaper deadline's tomorrow and they want to interview you in the next 10 minutes. So you need to be willing to just do it there and then and get it done and get yourself out there.
Most certainly. You've got to be, I always call it media ready. You know, I always say, yeah, like try and be like the media. If you're serious about being on television or on radio or in a newspaper, magazine, be ready for the media. Because, I mean, there have been times when I've been asked to, can you please send us this article within 15 minutes? Can you send it to us within half an hour? And you know what, to be honest with you, to spend time writing up an article or typing up an article is actually long and tiring and boring sometimes. But you have to think to yourself, do I want this opportunity or not? Like, do you have to think, I need to get this done, because this could be a new article, a new interview or something. And if you just think, oh, I can't be bothered. And it's the same with applications as well. Like a lot of young girls and women, they want to be in pageants, but they just can't be bothered to sit down and do the application form. So it's about, you know, getting that application form done, writing that press release, following up with a phone call if you need to. And like Emma said, being confident with the media, because it's really important. So to wrap up, I thought I would just ask you, what would you say to any young girls or women that want to enter UK's Dazzling Beauty, and also that they want to follow in your footsteps and actually win UK's Dazzling Beauty?
I say you need to go. Don't overthink it. Don't think about what could go wrong. Don't think, what if this happens? Just go for it. You know, regardless of what happens, you're going to gain confidence. You're going to get knowledge. Like I say, the more pageants you do, the better you'll become. And you're going to get loads of support. You're going to get loads of training before the pageant, so don't worry about that. You're going to have icebreakers. All the girls are lovely. Well, all the girls I've experienced have been lovely. So just get out there, you know, prepare, practice, do your research. With regards to planning on winning the crown, research the system you're entering. So know who the previous winners are. Know what they did, know what titles they won, know what they did to raise money for charity. Because if you want to follow in their footsteps, you need to know what they did to win. So if you're on stage and someone asks you a question about the system, so UK's Dazzling Beauty, and you don't know anything about it, that's not going to look very good. That's not going to show that you're dedicated at all. You need to be focused and dedicated on what you're doing and have done your research. And also that will help you when you're doing interviews. So if you've done your research, you know it's all up here. So before you go on stage, you don't need to be thinking, okay, if they ask this, I'm going to say this, this, and this, and this. Because most likely, your mind's going to go blank if you do that. So if you know you've done the research and you know you've got it all up here, when they ask you those questions, it will just come out naturally and flow naturally.
So true. Brilliant. That's so true. Emma's right. You know, if you want to enter, like she said, you should just go for it. You know, you have to just give it a try, because you never know where it's going to take you. And like she said, even if you don't win, you're still going to have a great experience and meet people and build your confidence. And it could be a stepping stone to another pageant. And like you said, with winning the crown, I totally agree that if a judge sees that someone goes on that stage and they just don't know, they don't even know their own title. Have you ever noticed some girls don't know their own title?
Yeah.
So if you go there and you don't know the title, so if you say I am, you can say Miss, but if you say something like I am UK Dazzling Girl, for example, that isn't the title, you know. So, or if you say I'm Miss Photogenic England UK, that's not the title either. So whatever your title is, know it thoroughly, because if you don't know your own name, I mean, even though it's not a name, but if you don't know your own name, it's like, oh my gosh, she doesn't even know her own title. And then on top of it, like you said, with the pageant, you've got to know for example, things like the charities we're raising money for, or because basically at the moment we're allowing you to raise money for the charity of your choice, so you need to know that. And then you just need to know things such as, like she said, who are the former winners, who are the winners, and what can you learn from them, and how can you outdo them, not in a negative bad way, but like how can you surpass them in a positive way, in terms of, it's a bit like carrying the baton when you're running, you know, that those running positions, it's like carry the baton and then run really hard and make them proud, make them feel like, oh, I'm glad to give her the crown and let her continue this good work, because there are some people that take on a crown and title and they don't do anything with it. So the winner wouldn't be happy to know that she gave it to somebody that just sat on the chair and did nothing. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, when I'm handing over the crown at the grand final, I want to know that that person deserves it and that they're going to go and do good with it. You know, raise money for charity, get involved with the community.
Yeah,
that's really important.
Brilliant. Do you have any other words to say, Emma, as we tune out?
I'd just say, whatever your dreams are, whatever it is you're thinking, oh, shall I do it? Just go for it. Just do it. If you believe in yourself, you will do it, and you're going to get loads of support along the way. So just don't worry about anything.
Brilliant. Yes, I totally agree with Emma. I just want to say, go for your dreams. Make everything that you have in your heart is there for a reason. So if you feel like, oh my gosh, I want to be a model, go for that dream. If you want to be a performer, go for it, because you just never know where it's going to take you. And if you're interested in UK's Dazzling Beauty, go to www.U for uniform, K for kettle, S for sugar, dazzlingbeauty.com. You can follow us on Twitter, which is at UK's Daz Beauty, and you can, Emma, tell us what your Facebook is and your Instagram, and so that everyone can follow you if you want them to.
So my Instagram is just McKeown Emma, and my Facebook, if you want to like the open page, it's just Emma McKeown, UK's Dazzling Beauty 2014-2015. If you type that in, you can go to it. It's an open page, and you can like it and keep up to date with anything I'm doing.
Brilliant. I was just trying to see if I can find it. Do you want me to paste it in, Emma?
Yeah, if you can find it, yep.
Yeah, I think I'll be able to find it. I'll type that in so you can check out Emma's page. I hope I've got the right one. I think this is it. I think that's it. Is it? Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, that looks like it, yeah.
Yes. Perfect, Emma. So thank you so much for being on this show. I'm so glad it happened, because we tried to schedule it for yesterday and my internet wasn't connecting with this laptop for some reason, and it's the only way I can do my filming at the moment.
Yes.
Yes, I'm really, really glad. And like, that's the thing as well, like what Emma was saying, you know, with the media, you never know, an opportunity may come and some technical problem may arise. Be determined to make it happen. And you know, Emma was like, you know, are you available again today? She was like really determined to be on this show, and that's how you will get opportunities, if you push for them, not just sit back and say, oh, it didn't work, so forget it now forever.
Yeah, definitely. You will keep going, and if you fail, just get back up and try again, because you will never fail if you keep trying. It's only when you give up that's when failure happens.
Definitely. Oh, thank you so much, Emma.
Thank you for having me. Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Julia, all the people here, we are grateful, and see you all very soon. Hope to see you all at the grand final, and God bless you all. See you. Bye, Emma. Bye.